to TTHTV. Today we are joined by Coach Brad, answering some of the questions, millions of questions actually. We were so overwhelmed by the response we got from you guys. But this has come from something that we talk about a lot, in that, especially in the last few months, people training for the marathon and apparently hating it.
Yeah.
Like, people are seriously having a bad time doing this. Now, something to remind you here is that no one made you to sign up to this marathon, or we hope they didn't.
You had a choice.
You have some really bad friends with it.
Yeah.
But we kind of do that.
But this is your choice. This is, you know, I was about to say your life, that's a bit dramatic, isn't it? But you chose to sign up for this marathon, so we kind of want to help you hopefully make this a memorable one for the right reasons, rather than...
We're not saying as well you're going to enjoy every single mile. Of course you're going to have that bad run, or like some like sticky patch, you're going to have a bad training session. Like, that is life, but you should always look back on the whole experience, and it should be a positive one, is what we're saying.
And as I said, that can be difficult. You know, those 3.5 hour runs aren't going to be pleasant for the whole thing. But one thing that we seem to be getting a lot of is one, loneliness. Now I understand that we kind of combat that one quite well. And the other one that is the kind of biggest fighter in this one is injury. We definitely suffered with that in 2015. We just ran and didn't really have any direction with our training. We now do. Cue Brad. And we have kind of never been more ready to run a marathon than we are now, which is obviously a good thing because we have one quite soon. Yeah. So we thought we'd cover some of the questions that you guys have been answering, and problems that you've been kind of coming across during your marathon training with the help of Brad.
So our 4 brackets today are going to be injury, nutrition, training, and then just general marathon. Yeah, as well. So I think if we kick things off with injury, a lot of you have got in contact with knee pain and a couple with hip. So Brad's going to sort of tell you about the 2 different types of runner's knee.
Okay, so a lot of questions have been coming in about kind of feeling pain in the knee as such. So runner's knee is the most common phrase for it. Okay, anterior knee pain, patellofemoral pain. Okay, there's 2 types of it. Okay, so first we're looking at more of a chronic issue in terms of the IT band. So simply where the IT band is hugely restricted, kind of tendons start to tear. Okay, it's a bit more of the severe issue as such, okay, with it. So I think we had a couple of people messaging with that version of it.
Yeah.
With that one, it's really important that you get diagnosed properly for that, okay? So that means probably going through some ultrasounds for it and seeing a physio and a deeper rehab for that, okay? So I think one of the girls was saying about she's been doing strength training for it.
Yeah.
But until we kind of know what type of training you're doing for it as well, because general strength training isn't enough with an injury like that.
I think also with both of these things, kind of before we go any further, is a lot of people are saying, how do I train through it? Please don't.
Don't run.
Stop.
I know that's like the hardest thing, because like, as soon as we're told like don't run, and especially when you signed up to like a big race like London Marathon, but at the end of the day, and I know with like hypocrites when it comes to that, if it means having to defer your place and meaning you can run for the rest of your life, then do it, because it's not worth saying you ran the London Marathon in 2018 and you never ran happily.
The short-term goal, whether it's a half marathon, London Marathon, is not worth kind of 2 years or longer years of pain for the sake of having a bad experience of that. So yeah, basically don't run if you're suffering with any type of knee issues at the moment. Okay, so the IT band being kind of the more severe issue with it. The most common issue, okay, is happening kind of anteriorly. Okay, so with the VMO and the quad basically being weak as hell. Okay, so lack of strength in that position, which is the most common issue. Emily suffered with a bit.
A little bit.
And it's quite a simple fix and a quick fix, okay, when you start to get into the root of it. Basically, we just need to start strengthening the VMO as a unit, okay, so more isolation work on that, and basically focusing on more of our anterior chain rather than just posterior. With that, there's 3 stages to the rehab process with that, okay, so we'll get into more complex with that. I think next week we're going to maybe do a little video on that, maybe. Okay, but the simple stages are, so first kind of 3-4 weeks of that, just focusing on the eccentric load. Okay, so not going into deeper flexion, so knee traveling over the toe. Okay, no load with that. Then we start to introduce load into the movements, okay, with a concentric phase as well. And then basically the last phase should be into full load in Bulgarian split squats, lunges, with load over. Everyone loves it. Okay, so simple terms, if you're suffering with any type of knee pain, get screened or assessed first and get it diagnosed. And then from there, stop running completely. Okay, whether it's 5K, 10 miles, you're not running. You need to stop.
Not even
okay?
a short little one.
And you need to let the strength work
Not even a Barry's.
take place and progress with that first, and slowly start to introduce running back into the equation. Okay, so it's kind of suggested that no more than a 10% increase every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that does not mean from going from 5k back to 15 miles that you were doing before you felt the pain.
Yeah.
In simple terms.
Perfect.
Yes.
Our second major injury, what came through was hips and like lazy glutes is what I'm talking about, because it's quite a common thing that like runners don't have any
They're not
glutes.
working.
They're not working. How do I turn them on? Do I need to do crab walks? All this stuff. So can hip pain be linked to lazy glutes?
Yes.
I guess.
So the first myth to kind of get rid of is everyone's glutes are working. Okay, otherwise if they weren't, you'd fall over. Okay, you wouldn't be walking, never mind running. Okay, so it's really a case of are they working efficiently? Okay, to handle what you're asking of it, in this case, running a marathon. Okay, so the answer in most people's cases is no.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay, everyone has weak glutes, or generally a posterior chain in general is kind of lazy compared to other body parts. So with that hip pain, so hip impingements, let's say in the bottom of a squat or in running gait as we come into flexion of the knee, so that high knee position, okay, can be linked to weaker glutes or just general tightness in the hip itself. Okay, so mobilizing that area. So the combination of specific mobilization for the hips and strength training works perfectly.
You can keep an eye on our Instagram stories, we also put up a lot of our sessions, and anything that you see that has the word like glute, great for the glutes, hamstrings, then start to have a look at those exercises and they should help you.
And again, I think with that, it's again, the basic is getting screened first, seeing what the issues are, rather than just saying, oh, my glute's not working. It might not be that. Okay, it could be something else coming from the hamstring, the lower back, or just a general tightness in the hip, which happens when you run.
We
Isn't it?
get a lot of you asking kind of all these questions about what you should do with this, what you should do with that, and often our response will always be, if you can, if you're in London or close by, come and book in for like a screening with Brad, because it's so difficult to diagnose an individual until you've actually seen them move. And it's definitely something we couldn't do anyway, but I can. So we'll be putting all of his details below, so if you do want to book in a screening, you can give him a shout.
Perfect. So that's our injury bracket done. Should we go on to training?
Yeah.
Next. So again, our main question here was, how do I split my strength and my cardio?
How do you train?
How do we train?
How
What
exactly
is
do
our
we
week?
train?
And a lot of people answered the question themselves, like, I know everyone's different, and that really is the answer.
Surprisingly, even we are different. We are not on the same program. We
Yeah.
train differently. We have different volume. We have different kind of, even down to our running. We run kind of different amounts each week.
Run on different surfaces.
Yeah, we run on different services. We are surprisingly, I know we don't look it right now, but we are different individuals. So that is really, really important kind of before we go ahead with any of this or any suggestions, even that you take from kind of our training videos. Although those exercises are great for us and they probably will work on a general kind of basis for you guys, our programs are specifically for us and for our imbalances and our weaknesses.
I think with working with you, the most important thing we looked at is like intensity, frequency. What's the third one? I always forget. Volume. Because leading up to something like the marathon, I'd be like, okay, well, all my weight seems to be going up, but I also need to do more reps because I'm running longer and my runs need to go up. But you can't increase everything. You're going to crash. So if you find that too overwhelming, then find a coach. I'm not saying you have to come see a coach 3 times a week. Like we do, I know that's not possible for everyone. But even if you just go and talk to someone in that area and just go get their advice, and then from then on you can track it yourself. So if the weights are coming up, the reps have got to be coming down, the mileage has got to be staying the same, or something. You can't
Increase
bring
everything.
everything.
Yeah, it's just a case of, so going back to the slide in terms of exercise selection, a lot of moves that even you both do obviously work for most people, but then it is tailored, whether it's the range of the movement itself, so let's say a box squat, whether it's above 90 degrees, below 90 degrees with a pause. Okay, they're all working on specifics, either loading phase around an injury, a certain cycle, whether it's power or speed. Okay, so that all has its place as well. So seeing what the girls do or what I would do is not going to work for everyone else once it gets past a certain point. And then from there, really just periodization of your training is key. So for instance, this week for me in the gym is a deload week, which means I'm not doing any big lifts. Okay, I'm kind of cruising through my gym work this week, but mileage is increasing.
And that was
this week.
Okay,
so basically my frequency of runs is increasing this week, so I've been running twice a week up until this point. This week I'll run 3 with some extra mileage, so I'll probably hit about 6-7 miles extra by the end of the week. and then next week back into kind of last block before marathon. Mileage next week will come back down because my body's going to be in a bit of shock from load increasing back in the gym, and then we'll kind of manipulate it week by week until we get to taper week.
Yeah, so an answer to how do I train for a marathon? Seek some advice.
Yes.
Please don't just download something online, especially if you aren't a runner beforehand, because a lot of these plans, like they can work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're completely wrong, but they're for people who already run. If you suddenly are hitting 30 miles a week and you were doing 2 before, that is too
Gonna
much.
hurt.
I think there was a couple of people who messaged in saying they haven't ran since they were a kid,
Yeah, so
and they're now looking to run a marathon, which is obviously great,
and you can do
but
it.
there needs to be a periodization in terms of your running. You can't just go out and do 10 miles.
Yeah.
There's a lot of groundwork to be done before you
Yeah.
think about
So
something
again,
like
even not necessarily just in terms of your strength work, but getting assessed before you hit the road again running, if you haven't run for a number of years, is obviously key, because there could be things going wrong that will then restrict you and cause injury out on the road. So even a screening serves the purpose of just letting you know what's going on to help you with your running, even if you're not going to follow that through with the strength work.
And a final point in training, so we've got our notes behind us, is what should a runner do in the gym? So on that day that you're not running, and you're like, right, or obviously please throw in a rest day there as well, but you're going to go to the gym, what does a runner do in the gym?
then they just run.
Yeah.
Just run the whole
Get on the
time.
treadmill and
Get on the
run.
treadmill.
Or they cross-train.
Yeah. Whatever
That's our
that
favourite term.
is. You're a run or you're strength training. Doesn't matter if it's with a band or with heavy load, it's still strength training. Okay, to some respect. In the gym, okay, most of the time it's heavy load being shifted. Okay, you can only get stronger by forcing extra load on the body. Move it with intent. Okay, so you'll cross over out onto the road, onto the trails or whatever it is, will have some meaning. Okay, so banded work is great, for instance, but it doesn't necessarily make you a more powerful runner. You need to shift some heavy load at a high velocity to then cross over. And then obviously the main one is being a lot of unilateral work. Okay, so a lot of single leg work in there. Spend a lot of time on one leg when you're running, so it might make sense to load in a unilateral fashion, get stronger there.
I think that's what's made the biggest change to my training, because I quite enjoyed like the heavy lifts before, but I was so bad at single leg work, so I just didn't do it.
we're all a victim? Wrong word. We're all
Creatures have it.
yeah. Guilty of that. There we go. Of not doing things that we don't like.
Or we're not good at.
I think the main thing is, it doesn't have to be complicated. So there's a lot of stuff on social media that you'll see, whether it's coaches or
Like
just other runners seeing a lot of banded work or kind of manipulation of movements that look kind of fancy but don't necessarily have its place or reasoning behind it, when the reality is a box squat is more than good enough.
Yeah.
Okay, a step up, whether it's with a kettlebell, a dumbbell or barbell, is more than good enough. Yeah, it doesn't need to be too fancy to get the results. Okay, you can manipulate at points to add in kind of extra elements, so rotational elements. So let's take a dumbbell row. Okay, so instead of kind of your 3 points of contact,
Yeah.
okay, so meaning both feet are on the floor and one hand supported on a bench, let's say, you can now lift off one leg, so now you have that stability element in there, which changes the movement completely, makes it a lot harder. But again, that's only at certain stages in the cycle. It's not in there every week.
We'll be filming some kind of the big lifts. Big lifts?
Big lifts.
That we do with our sessions with Brad over the next few weeks, so that you guys can kind of start to get a base understanding of some of the kind of strength work that you can do in your gym that's super simple and you're probably doing already, but we'll just be showing you variations that may be slightly more tailored to improving your running.
Quickly touch on nutrition. We did this bracket quite quickly because we'll probably do a separate video on that.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask what we eat before, during and after a run. Again, like your training, it really depends for you. What's something really important, as your miles are coming up, you need to increase your food intake. Like not just around your run, just in general. Having said that, doesn't mean you eat 5 times the amount of food you normally do, because that's just going to make you feel sick. But yeah, just be aware that you are increasing your food so you're not losing weight. Obviously if that was your aim, then that's okay, but
you don't necessarily need to start introducing, like, I think a lot of people panic and just kind of try and get food in, which can be, one, quite stressful on the digestive system, and two, quite overwhelming. So we kind of focus on just kind of having more of what we usually have. So you don't need to suddenly be introducing like 3 slices of toast that you wouldn't usually have in the morning on top of the 2 you're already having with your eggs. It's literally just kind of increasing your portions as a whole. And so that keeps your digestive system happy because it's foods that your body's used to, and also foods that hopefully your body is efficient off and fuels well off. We get asked a lot about the snacks and stuff we take on board during a run, and we have 1,000,001 suggestions and stuff that we've stuck to now for the last 2 years or whatever, because we tried and tested them and they work for us. Orbital Thins.
I think you start from like the beginning. So your nutrition for like a big run starts the night before if you're going to run in the morning. So it's what you're having for dinner. So again, you just wanted something that you always have. So for us, it's wholemeal pasta with spinach and pesto, and that works perfectly. But again, it's what works for you. In the morning, normally 1 to 2 hours before you run, we'll have porridge with peanut butter and honey, maybe half a banana, let that digest, and then on the longer runs, we'll take on board maximum about half a litre of water, probably should be a bit more, but we struggle with that. And then we make a homemade flapjack that I'll link below for you. Otherwise, the other day we tried a chia charge bar and that worked perfectly, and it didn't fall apart in your hand, it wasn't sticky. Lucozade jelly beans as well instead of gels, because we struggle with those, but again, they are designed to be like the perfect nutrition fuel. So if you can use gels, go wild, but quite a lot of people struggle with them.
I mean, I think the thing with the nutrition, just like the training, keeping it simple is the most important thing. Some people, like I said, like intra-run snacks, some people can handle it, some people can't. Like myself, I don't really like taking anything. With me, I feel quite sick. So I can kind of get through 14, 15 miles without much in my stomach. But again, that's something I've done over the years that I've kind of, my body's adapted to. Some people need a lot more fuel before it, so hence I can run pretty early in the morning. Feel fine. Some people can't, so it's kind of working around your schedule as well. But keeping it simple.
Massively. And what you eat afterwards, I know people always like, oh, if you can't have anything after a workout, like getting that protein shake or whatever, after a run, that's not the case. If you can get in real food afterwards, that is the best you can do. We both massively screwed up the other weekend and ate loads of chocolate and felt so crap the next day. Like so bad. So your body, like, even though you're hungry and you're like, yeah, I can eat this chocolate, it's fine.
It's 3 for £1 and we'll take money. Like, how
great. Take the time and do it every now and again, like enjoy yourself, but it's not what your body wants, hence why we then felt awful. So just be aware of that fuel you put in your body.
I think also, like, a lot of people, like, the biggest thing we get when we talk about training marathons is like, oh my god, it's great, you can eat so much. Like, well, one, you need to, but also, like, a lot of people, and myself included, do struggle to eat straight after a run. I have to keep it really, really simple, and I'll often actually go back to snacks that I've consumed during the run. So I might have like Warburton Thins or some the Nairn's oatcake biscuits, because straight after a run, I struggle to digest a lot of food, and then like 2 hours later, I'm like a ravenous beast. But it is important to try and get something in. I know you don't always feel like it, but if I don't, even though sometimes I don't want to, then my kind of like ravenous beast mode is 10 times worse, and I end up eating foods that actually my body doesn't want.
Hence the chocolate.
Hence the 3 Maltese bunnies for £1 times 3.
9. So final bracket is marathon in general, really, which is, we kind of like touched on most of the things, but the main thing is like, as a beginner, like, how do I plan for a marathon? And I think the first thing we'll say is seek advice from someone who knows.
Progressive overload in the gym and on the road is key. So basically that means periodise over a week, over a month, over 2 months. Don't just chuck yourself into a half marathon. Okay, build up slowly, whether it's starting with 3-4K, see how that feels. The next week maybe increase the frequency of your runs.
Also, don't fear that like deload week, because I know it feels like you're taking that step back, because it feels like we've had quite a lot of half marathons due to our job, and then suddenly being like, oh, I'm just going to have a 10k this weekend, but shouldn't I be going up to 16 miles? What am I doing? I'm missing out on training. But your body needs that. If this is your first ever marathon, every weekend you're running the furthest you've ever run. Your body needs to recover before you get to race day. So once your mileage sort of clocks up to about that 14, 16 miles, have that deload week and then continue.
And on that recovery note, it is time for us to go and get some breakfast because we are hungry. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up.
I know we probably missed a lot of questions. If you have any more, pop them down below.
And we will be trying to do more of these. So yeah, please pop your questions below or drop us a DM with them. And we'll see you very soon. Bye.